presented to you by Top Sports News. I am your host, Caleb Jennerat. Next to me is my co-host, as always, Isaac Deer. Isaac, how are you doing on this very fine Sunday?
Oh, I'm great, man. There's a lot going on in the sports world, most notably WrestleMania Night 2 kicking off. We got Finn Balor and Edge in a HE double hockey sticks in a cell match, which is going really, really well. But yeah, it's been a fun weekend. I got to hang out with my family and my lady, and it's been good. It's been good to have kind of a relaxing weekend, and um, but we got business to take care of here.
Of course.
But before we get to that, I want to ask you, how was your weekend?
It was good. Yeah, the weather definitely helped. Uh, Spent pretty much all day outside today with the boy, with my son, which led to a very good nap time. He was very tired, came inside, crashed. Dad, I got stuff done. It was great. It's great. Great
Oh,
weekend. Great weekend outside. Yeah, I mean, the whole shebang. It was so fun. It was so fun.
I went on a run with the dog this morning, so I will also crash hard tonight because
There you go.
I'm
There you go.
struggling a little bit. So yeah, but I'm fired up, man. I'm fired up for this episode. I saw a lot of good stuff last week, so I'm ready.
Yeah, spring sports are definitely in action, definitely full in swing. But want to thank our gold sponsors before we start: Invista Credit Union and Family Guidance Center and the University of Kansas Health System St. Francis campus for continuing to sponsor Top Sports News. Also, want to shout out the ticker, do it every week. It's such a great tool to use. Put your scores in there, put stats in there. Someone hits a home run, put it in there. I mean, there it is. Isaac's got it right there. Nice little business card. It's easy to do. Super easy to do. So yeah, download the ticker. But if you didn't download the ticker and you didn't see stats on the ticker and you didn't see scores on the ticker, we got you covered. We're going to start it off with baseball. Seaman wins game 1 of 2 this season against crosstown rival Shawnee Heights.
Yeah, I think Rick Peterson put it best in his story that he put out on I think that might have been Friday. That it was a continuation of a long baseball rivalry, but with a new twist, because this is the first time that these two have faced each other in the United Kansas Conference. Because Seaman was in the Centennial League last year, so got game 1 out of 2 of the year out of the way. Seaman gets the 13-3 win over Shawnee Heights, a really convincing win. And there was some really, really good stuff from Seaman. Cameron Selbach, he opened up the game with a triple. It doesn't get much better than that. Max Huston had a home run, the K-State commit. Bryson Vaughter, he picked up the win. One of the best pitchers in the state, Bryson Vaughter. We talk about him a lot. In 4 innings of work, I think Vaughter struck out 7 batters too. So amazing stuff from Seaman right away. They had 4 runs in the top of the third to take an 8-3 lead, and from there they just kind of were able to have their way with Shawnee Heights and get the win. I know Carter Ulrich. We talked about him. I think last week. He also had a good performance. He's for Shawnee Heights. I think he had 4 hits against Seaman. That was one of the big highlights for Shawnee Heights. And Ulrich was one of the first of 4 pitchers to pitch against Shawnee, or get to pitch against Seaman as well. Johan Villa, Joe Reynolds, and Jaden Hawley turned in some relieving stints. So Ulrich took the loss, but he had a good performance at the plate. And we'll talk about this a little bit later, but Shawnee Heights was able to avenge that loss. So good for Seaman for getting that win against Shawnee Heights. But we have more Seaman baseball to talk about. So let's
Yes,
hit
we
it.
do. So sticking with the Vikings, Caden Griffin's walk-off single gave Seaman a doubleheader sweep over a very, very talented Washburn Rural team. So shout out to the Vikings in this one as well.
Yeah, Caden Griffin, and the cool thing about his walk off, it was a 2-out walk off single as well. So it wasn't just a no out walk, got on some air, stolen bases, whatever. It was 2 outs with the game on the line. So that was awesome for Seaman to come up with there. Um, yeah, I think the first game wasn't close. It was 17-7. It was a huge game for Seaman, and then the second game was that walk off where it was 10-9. Um, Got to give credit to Seaman, man. They're absolutely playing like a 5A powerhouse, which they are labeled. We talked about it in a bit of our preview as well, Caleb. We were hyping them up, and we knew that this squad coming back was going to be a good one. They're loaded in the bullpen. Great starters, 1 through 9 in terms of the batting order. Solid, great defense. From so far, what we've seen from Seaman is kind of what we expected. Um, an unfortunate, kind of surprising loss that they took in the state tournament last year is kind of just I feel like it fueled them a little bit more. So I definitely think that this is a redemption year for them. And I think with all the guys that they got back, I think that they're in really good hands so far.
Yeah, for sure. And another sweep that happened inside of Shawnee County, Topeka High swept the doubleheader against Washburn Rural as well. Shout out to the Trojans.
Yeah, and they were all, both of the wins were come behind wins too, because Washburn Rural had early leads in both games, and I think Todd Furtick put it best. He's called them the scrappy Trojans, and that's a good way to call them because that's what they are. Um, Topeka High is definitely going to be one of those teams that's going to claw and fight for everything. I know things didn't go necessarily well for them to end the week against Manhattan at Manhattan. But man, did they see some good stuff against Washburn Rural. They rallied back from a 5-1 deficit to take a 6-5 lead. Washburn Rural had a 9-2 lead at one point, and Topeka High was able to come back and win that. Just great fight from the Topeka High Trojans so far, man. Like 6-5 win game one, 11-5 win game two, and we'll talk about this particular player later. Spoiler alert. But Nate Plankinton absolutely pitched his butt off, and I can't figure out a way. We didn't give Topeka High the proper credit that they deserved before the season started because we didn't know much about kind of what they were returning or what kind of team they were. But as we're 2 weeks in the season, we know that they're scrappy and they really don't give up. So it's been kind of fun to keep tabs on them so far in this very, very young season, but it's the spring. These seasons absolutely fly by because winter sports take a long time to finish up. So spring sports you start them and you end them. So it's good for Topeka High to kind of get those 2 wins against a Washburn Rural team that we think could be a contender for a state title. And I know Washburn Rural hasn't had the best start to the year, but they've played nothing but good teams. A couple of Olathe teams that are really, really good. Any baseball team from Johnson County is going to be stacked no matter who you play. That's just the way it is. They took some losses there. Topeka High, Shawnee Heights, or Topeka High and Seaman. So, yeah, man, it was a tough start for Washburn Rural, but for Topeka High, good for them to kind of get that statement win, especially this early in the season.
Yeah, and you mentioned how Shawnee Heights came back from that loss to Seaman. They rolled to a UKC doubleheader sweep over Topeka West last week as well.
Yeah, it was convincing in every way. 16-1 win over Topeka West and an 18-2 win, a couple run roll games for Shawnee Heights. Topeka West has also had kind of a rough start to the year, but any conference win is sweet. And when you can outscore somebody 34-3, that's always, I guess you could say that's a plus. And I know Ryan Schmidt, Shawnee Heights' coach, he was happy with the way that they were able to kind of bounce back from a tough loss against Seaman, and they I think they had 6 runs in the first 2 innings of the opener, and then they had 10 runs in the third. So yeah, it was a blowout all the way around. Shawnee Heights is a dang good team. So you gotta give them their flowers, and Topeka West will bounce back. But yeah, that was a big one for sure. That was huge for Shawnee Heights, and like I said, always sweet to get that conference win. And if you can get 2 of them, it's even sweeter.
Yeah, 100%. And lastly, before we move on to the next sport, Silver Lake beat St. Mary's 9-1. In game two, they won 9-0. Now moving on to track, we had one big invitational that we're going to talk about, the Jerry Beardsley Invitational.
Yeah, there was I think on Wednesday or Thursday, they had a big track meet in town. Washburn Rural was there, Seaman was there, Topeka High was there. Um, there was a lot going on at I think it was at Washburn Rural High last week, if I'm correct. So at Washburn Rural, um, great opening. I guess this is week 2 of the track season, so obviously good stuff there, and you get some really good teams in there, especially from the city. But there were some really good performances, as we're accustomed to when it comes to the track season. Alexis Fredrickson from Washburn Rural. I know there's a big story on her coming out of that meet. 3-time state medalist in wrestling. We've talked about her a lot this past winter. She won the 100-meter dash, took the 200-meter, finished second in the pole vault, and second in the 400-meter as well. So huge day for Alexis Fredrickson. We know she's going to be a stud in track, just like she is in wrestling. Also, another big performance was from Bethany Druce, who won 3 golds at this meet. Bethany Druce also plays soccer. She also played pretty well this past week when I saw Seaman play as well on the soccer field. I think the future Kansas Jayhawk Bethany Druce. I'll throw that in there for all my KU fans out there. Well, you're a student. You're more go Big Red, but you got. What am I doing? You got the degree. Well, Caleb. Just flex it. Just go ahead. I'll give you 5 seconds. I almost fell on my
official, but
yes, absolutely. Yeah, go Big Red, of course. Yeah, Bethany Drew, she had a big day at the Jerry Beardsley Invitational. Druce won the 800-meter dash, which sounds like absolute torment to run. Won the 1 mile, and she was a big part in the Vikings 4x400 relay as well. It was a come from behind win too, so they had to rally and put that together. So Bethany Druce, big impact at this invitational. There were some other good performers around the city. Topeka High, Vontae Peoples, Viante Peoples, he won the 100-meter dash for the boys for Topeka High, and I think he won the 200 as well with 23.74 second time. I'm not going to say a lot of numbers because I look like an absolute dummy when I start talking numbers because I read too fast. So we're just going to be simple today. I think that's better for the people. I think that's better for my brain. I think that's better for you because, numbers are hard. Numbers are really, really hard. That's why I'm a journalism student and not a math student or an engineer. I watch sports. I'm good at watching sports. I can accept my fate. That's what I'm good at. Okay. Anyways, so Topeka High also won the 4x100 relay in 43.10 seconds and the 4x400 relay as well. We talk about Trey Richardson a lot. Highland Park stud, future Hutchinson Blue Dragon football commit Trey Richardson. He won the boys long jump, 22 feet 7 inches. He also won the triple jump, and he finished second in the high jump. So 2 golds and a silver. That's pretty dang good. Josh Solzen Watson for Washburn Rural. He swept the discus and javelin titles on Thursday. He posted a winning throw of 143.7 in the discus and had a top throw in the javelin 166.8. That's all I'll say because I'm trying to avoid to be the clown this week. But yeah, a lot of great performances from this invitational, Caleb. We love track. This is a track show. So
love track. Always love track.
Hi, baby. Yeah.
So we're going to move on to softball. But before we do, this first team that we're going to talk about, I want to issue a formal apology to. In the opening episode where we did our preview, we talked about Rossville. And me, being the Santa Fe Trail grad, kind of went in a little bit. Baseball won, Santa Fe Trail baseball knocked them out of regionals. Santa Fe Trail softball beat them in the third and fourth place match. So I kind of went in a little bit just to have Rossville come back, really punch Santa Fe Trail in the mouth, and maybe it's my fault. Fellow Chargers, I'm sorry. Maybe I gave them the extra juice that they needed because they absolutely rolled to 2 wins against Santa Fe Trail, improving to 4-0. So that's my formal apology to Rossville. But just know, I'm still a Charger.
A formal apology to Rossville and also a formal apology to Santa Fe Trail for giving Rossville the ammunition to absolutely rake. Sorry, Santa Fe Trail. We love the Chargers. We love them. The ones from Don't Overlook Overbrook, Carbondale, and Scranton. Is that still a thing where the 3 cities are combined for?
Yeah, okay. All 3 into one.
Yeah. What's the combined population of those 3?
Probably less than 3,000. I would guess. Maybe right around 3,000.
My hometown also, my high school, West Franklin, where the Falcons reside, we had 3 towns combined for one school as well. For a nice, so I think I graduated with like 36 people.
Yeah, that's like half of what I graduated with, and I thought I was in a small school.
So. Yeah, you guys are the city. Like Santa Fe Trail, that's big time. That's big time stuff. So yeah, for all these giant 6A schools that graduate with people they don't even know, didn't experience that. But yeah, Rossville rolled, avenged their loss from last year, their heartbreaking loss in the 3A state tournament for them. Santa Fe Trail actually had a 2-1 11 inning win over Rossville in last year's third place game. Is that correct? I think that might be correct.
So. Yeah,
but Rossville in the end on to kick off the 2023 season had a couple of pretty deciding victories. So yeah, as you mentioned, sorry Santa Fe Trail. Caleb did that all to you. But we love Santa Fe Trail. This is a Santa Fe Trail show. We love the Chargers. But go Dogs! Go Dogs!
Yeah, congratulations to the Dogs for sure. And then moving just down Highway 24, Silver Lake swept Perry Lecompton in their doubleheader as well. So a good week for Highway 24 teams.
Yeah, I'd say so. Silver Lake, they 7-0 win and then a 10-0 run roll victory over Perry Lecompton, which not an itty bitty school by any means. We know Perry. Perry's right over there. But junior Avery Wendy, she pitched a complete game in the opener, allowing 6 hits, but she struck out 7. That's pretty good. Kendra Cook, she got the game and win. She got the win in game number 2. She struck out 4 batters. Taylor Zordel had 3 first game hits for the Eagles. Mackenzie McDaniel, talk about her a lot. She had 2 RBIs. In game 2, freshman Kaylin Haney, talk about her a lot. She had 3 hits for Silver Lake. Zordel and McKinley Kruger each had 2 hits apiece. In the dominant doubleheader sweep, Silver Lake off to a great start this spring. I think that Silver Lake can definitely be a contender for 3A. War on 24 will be here before you know it, and that softball doubleheader will be absolutely electric. I think those 2 teams, it seems like every sport that we're like Rossville, Silver Lake are going to contend for a 3A state title. I think that's the same way for softball this year because they really got a good team going for them here.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one to watch for sure. Seaman, Lady Vikings, also rallied from a 5-1 deficit to knock off a very good Shawnee Heights team 9-5. 8 unanswered runs for the Lady Vikings.
Yeah, obviously it was a huge win for Seaman. We know that this is going to be a really good team this year. The UKC has some really good softball teams. We'll get to Shawnee Heights again later. But Seaman has Aspen Burgert, who we know is one of the top pitchers, not just in the city, but a really established pitcher in 5A as well. I think she began the game for Seaman in the circle, but she didn't finish out. It was Caitlin O'Rourke, I think, finished out and came in the final 4 innings, allowed 3 hits, no runs, and struck out 6. So I'm assuming Caitlin O'Rourke got the win on that. Jersey Jellison had a leadoff home run to center field, the junior for Seaman. Berger also at the plate. She got 2 runs back for herself, hitting a double into right field, and she cut the lead to just 1. And with the rally, O'Rourke at the plate helped her own cause with the single to score 1 run in the 6th. And she really put the team and herself in a position to win after a wild pitch allowed by Josie Hefner to score. Rosalie Schneider and Berger had 2 consecutive 2-out hits after that with a single and a double. And with those, the score made it 8-5, and the final score would be 9-5. There was an insurance run added by McConnell in the end. So a true come from behind rally for Seaman. That's also good to start out a year. Usually the comeback wins are kind of hard to come by. So good for the Vikes. But let's shift into what happened later in the week for Shawnee Heights, shall we?
Yeah, Shawnee Heights definitely rallied back because they beat Topeka West and UKC doubleheader after taking that tough loss that we mentioned from Seaman earlier in the week.
Yes, yeah. And I was there for this one, in a very chilly and windy day at Hummer Sports Park. A very chilly and windy day. Topeka West looked really good in the first game for the first couple of innings. It was back and forth with Shawnee Heights, and they had a lead. But Shawnee Heights really settled in at the plate, looked really, really good. Grace Proctor, who might talk about later. Grace Proctor was really, really good. It wasn't the hardest day of work because she put in 4 innings because of a run roll. But after giving up a few runs, she gave up 3 hits, struck out 4 batters, and gave up a walk at the plate. Grace Proctor was really, really good. Went for a Wendy's 4 for 4 with 2 doubles and 5 RBIs. Like how I slid.
I like what you did there.
My fat brain slid that in there. In addition to Grace Proctor knocking in 2 doubles, the Thunderbirds combined for 5 more doubles on the day. It was a McDouble kind of day for the T-Birds. I can't stop
sliding these things in.
Eloise Adams, Taylor Breeze, Spencer Habig, Corinne Gonzalez, and Diana Miller each had a double. He combined for 15 runs in just 3 innings. It was pretty impressive in game 1. Game 2, 10-0 win in 6 innings. Didn't get to that 7th inning because Topeka West couldn't add a run to at least give him one more chance. But Carlin Bowman was really, really good in that second game. I think she had a 3-run triple at one point in the game. All around, though, Shawnee Heights is pretty much a pitch-perfect game. And I know when I talked to Coach Tara Griffith after the game, she mentioned that the Seaman loss was hard because she didn't think that they played at their best, and she didn't want to discredit Seaman because she said Seaman played really well, but she believed that they didn't play at their best. And in this game in this doubleheader against Topeka West, they were spot on for, I guess it was 10 innings total because of the 4 innings in the first game, 6 in the second. They were great. I was really impressed with what I saw from top to bottom. It was a really impressive performance for Shawnee Heights. I'm excited to see what they do next.
Yeah, very talented. So don't doubt that they can do anything they want the rest of the year. They put their best performance forward. Moving on to our last sport that we're going to talk about before we get to the best segment in Shawnee County, soccer. Seaman wins a gutsy performance against Care Paravel and stays undefeated with a big win over Lawrence High as well.
Yeah, the Care Paravel game I was there for. It was an interesting game, man. It was really interesting. It was a very slow first half. Not much happened for either team. I think it was 0-0 at halftime. Neither team was able to crack it, but in the second half it was a 3-2 shootout. It was interesting, and got to give credit to Siemens junior Maren Schuler. She she nailed in a free kick for a goal, and had a very interesting penalty kick to give them the win at the end. She started off a little quick in the penalty kick, the PK. The referee ruled it off. She made the goal, but she had to start over because she went a little early. So she went back and she got the goal anyway, which ended up being the game-winning goal. So that was a huge deal that she had enough guts and enough poise to kind of hang in there and get that goal. I know Brooklyn Yingling, who's a senior for Seaman, had a goal as well. And for Care Paravel, they fought the whole way through. They ended up having a really good week after this game. But Zara Fries, who's an absolute beast, Kelly and Chada, freshman, they both had goals against Seaman, but just fell a little bit short. And it was just a really good win by Seaman, who ends up staying undefeated after beating Lawrence High a little later that week. And they've played some really good teams too, because Seaman's played Manhattan. They beat Manhattan, who was in the 6A state tournament a year ago, finished fourth place behind Blue Valley West, Washburn Rural, and Olathe Northwest. So that's a great win overall. They beat Emporia. Then they beat Care Paravel, who was in the 4A through 1A tournament last year. And then they beat Lawrence High as well. So they've gotten some really good wins to start off this year. So shout out to the Seaman Vikes for a great kickoff to the season.
Thought you did there.
Thanks, man.
Yes, despite losing to Seaman, Care Paravel did win the Red Bracket Championship at the Titan Classic with a huge win over Campus Clearwater High School.
Yeah, they got campus good, and they ended up beating Wichita Southeast. That campus game though wasn't close. It was 10-0. That was the final, and there was nothing there to hang your hat on. Care Paravel in the campus game, Zara Fries, we just talked about, had a hat trick plus one. She had 4 goals against Campus Clearwater, and then she also had one in the game after that against Wichita Southeast on Saturday. But Catherine Keys, she is a really, really good player as well. She had a hat trick against Campus with 3 goals. Catherine Keys and Zara Fries, and they got, they're just loaded all over the place. I can't even pick anybody out in particular. They're just really good. But yeah, they won the red bracket at a tough Titan Classic. End off the week in really good hands. That win that they had against Wichita Southeast to win the red bracket championship was 3-0. So when you go to Wichita to the Titan Classic and you leave with a combined 13 goals to 0, it's pretty good. So shout out to Care Paravel. Really kicking it into high gear. Yeah.
We're here today with the puns. I like it. Moving on to Topeka West Soccer, who was boosted by 4 second-half goals to beat Highland Park 5-0, for their first win, and took a loss to Pittsburgh on Friday.
You know how many times I said to 0 like last week? I didn't even think about it until afterwards. So we are here, though. This is a soccer pod, so this is what we do. But yes, 5-0 win against Highland Park. A city win, 501 win. Just stayed right at Hummer Sports Park for that one. So that game in particular, Topeka West had a 1-0 lead at half from Allison Glenn's goal, but in the second half, they would run away with 4 straight goals to kind of take the win over there. Ella Martinez, Taryn Gilbert, Elias Smith, and Abigail Ray all had goals in that second half. They did have I believe, a 3-0 lead against Pittsburgh on Friday, but Pittsburgh came back with 4 goals to beat them in that. So that was a pretty remarkable win for Pittsburgh there. But yeah, Topeka West, good win against Highland Park. I think after taking some tough losses early in the year, I think that was good for them to end up in the winning column.
Yeah, for sure. And then Hayden Soccer took care of business in a pair of non-league wins as they beat Free State 2-1 and Lansing 6-0. 6-0.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey man, you got it, dude. The Free State win That was interesting because I was just scrolling on Twitter on, I'd like to say it was Monday, when Hayden was at Free State, and Brianna Barnett had a quite long free kick that went in for a goal, and I was hyped. I had to rewatch it a couple times because it was pretty amazing stuff. Brianna Barnett had quite quite the free kick goal there to, I think that gave them a 1-0 lead in the second half. Free State got another goal, but in the second half, Janessa Brocksterman for Hayden got the game-winning goal from Jill Leonard on the assist. So yeah, that was a big win for them against Free State, which Free State, never an easy team to beat in the first place. After beating Free State, they ended up getting a really good 6-0 or 6-0 win against Lansing, a non-league win to end out the week. They had a couple players end up with multi-goal games. Jill Leonard had 2, and Sloan Sims had 2. They had 3 goals in each half. It was pretty much the perfect match for Hayden, leaving out with a 6-0 win. They are looking really good as well. Hayden's kind of killing it right now. So be on the lookout for them because they got some really good games coming up, but they'll be ready to go for sure.
Shawnee Heights also got a 5-0 win against Ottawa on Tuesday. Sophomore Layla Binns registered a hat trick in the 5-0 win against Ottawa. Binns had 3 goals, and Peyton Hack and Lily Martin had the other 2. And in the last Thunderbird games, Heights outscored Casey Harmon in Ottawa 15-0 with shutouts from Mackenzie Myrtle.
Yeah, Shawnee Heights, after a tough loss to Blue Valley Southwest, who I think is definitely the favorite to win the state championship this year. Shawnee Heights, really, really good team too. I hope that they didn't get discouraged after that one loss, which I don't think they did, because they are absolutely rolling right now. Not like I know any better, because I don't. I'm just a dummy that likes to talk about sports. But Lila Benz, though, hat trick. Awesome. I love the hat tricks, man. Let's keep them up. But that Ottawa win was impressive. And then they had a 10-0 win against Casey Harmon, which was also very good. Mackenzie Myrtle, you mentioned the name. Let's give her the credit that is deserved with those 2 wins. Yep. A couple of shutouts in between the pipes. So good job, Shawnee Heights. Doing well.
Mm-hmm. And then the 6A teams in the city competed in tournaments this week, with T-High competing in the 17th annual McPherson Invitational, while Washburn Rural competed in the Olathe Northwest Varsity Invitational as well.
Yeah, Topeka High had a couple of losses in this invitational, this stacked invitational, but it wasn't by big margins at all. They're actually very, very close games. They fell in the first round to Salina South 2-1 in a late second half Salina South goal, but they would go on to beat Newton on Wednesday afternoon in McPherson 3-2, and fell just short in a crazy shootout against McPherson 5-4. I don't know if it's McPherson. I don't know if it's McPherson. I really don't care. People get upset about everything. I don't know if it's El Dorado, El Dorado. Who cares? But anyway, talked about her a lot last week, deservedly so. Avery Zimmerman, she had a good tournament. She had a goal, an assist, and a shootout goal, but she was also selected to the all-tournament team, the all McPherson invitational tournament team. So flowers there. Good job, Avery. Topeka High, also very good job. They'll have a really fun matchup next week that I'm looking forward to covering against Care Paravel at Sunflower Soccer Complex. So that will be fun. I'm excited for that one. But yeah, Topeka High just fell short. The other 6A team, Washburn Rural, they took their first loss of the season. We mentioned them earlier in Blue Valley Southwest, 2-1 in the opening round. In the second round, they had a rematch against Cape and Mount Carmel again. For the second straight time, Rural took care of business against them with a 2-0 win. Goals by Kate Hink and Delaney Hill. They also got a shout out for the shutout, Haley Beck. God, you got the shutout. Shout out for the shutout. There you go. The third one of the season before the final match on Saturday. Shout out for another shutout. Haley Beck had her fourth shutout in the 2-0 Shawnee Mission West victory that they had against them. McKinley Roan and Annie Broxterman scored goals, and that was the way they capped off the tournament. A very, 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 very tough Olathe Northwest Varsity Invitational. I can't emphasize that enough. So good job, Washburn Rural, for getting the win to end out last weekend and the tournament. So that's all. We got the soccer. We got the soccer right here on this pod, on this show. This is the best Shawnee County soccer coverage, track coverage, baseball coverage, softball coverage, you name it. We're getting it. We're getting the hang of everything. But if you guys have any stats you want to share, or any scores, or any ideas for us for the show, any kind of spring sports, anything that you want to throw our way, our DMs are open. We would gladly take anything that you have from us. We're excited to kind of give everybody this coverage. And we want to give everybody the proper coverage and as much coverage as possible. So if you have anything that you think would be beneficial for us, beneficial to the public in any way, please share. Please share. Our DMs are always open. So with that, we have another big segment to close the show to get to, Caleb.
You know what it is.
You know what it is. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ooh. Okay.
Got him.
All right.
I'm winning here too, by the way.
Yeah, I know. We're rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
I'm just too good. I'm in your head.
You
I'm
are.
reading your mind.
You are. This is bad. This is bad. Bad rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Shoots for me. It's just we're not doing well, Team Isaac. We're not doing well with the rock, paper, scissors, shoots.
The odds are not in your favor, that's for sure.
No, yeah. Just like Charlotte Flair last night to Rhea Ripley, you know. Wrestling, if you understand it, we're just not doing well today.
Well, let's get to it.
Yeah.
We talked about this guy already, Nate Plankington from Topeka High for the baseball team. He got wins in both games of the doubleheader against Washburn Rural. He pitched in both games, as I said, relief in the first and started the second. The junior struck out 6 batters and surrendered just 1 single and 1 walk over the next 3 frames for the win. Shout out to Nate.
Nate Plankington, man. Good for him. Let's go to my list. My number 5. We have just talked about her not too long ago. Seaman Soccer's own Marin Schuler. To say that Marin Schuler had a gutsy performance would be an absolute understatement. On Tuesday, mentioned against Cara Paravel, wasn't just the gutsy penalty kick goal that she had to redo. She battled through a hip flexor injury as well, so she was kind of fighting that pain. Thanks to a Cara Paravel handball at one end, she was awarded a free kick, nailed that, scored on that. Later in the second half, she took a sliding kick from Cara Paravel. She was awarded a PK, nailed the PK. She was extremely valuable to the team. I don't think there's any way to put it. Without her contributions, who knows how that game would turn out. It's a team sport. I get it, but Marin Schuler balled out. So with that, Marin Schuler, congratulations. You just made
Congratulations. Before I get to my number 4, I want to apologize because I don't want to butcher this name. I really don't. You deserve all the respect. That's why you made my list. But I promise, if I butcher this name, it's nothing. It's nothing towards you. If I butcher this name, tell me how to say it correctly. Because yes, I need to know. I need to know because you're a stud. So here we go. My best attempt. Timane Isaiah from Topeka High, staying in Topeka High on the softball team. The freshman hit 2 home runs, two run home runs in back-to-back innings in a loss to Manhattan, finishing with 5 RBIs in the game. So shout out to you. Tell me how to say your name. If I said it right, hey, congrats to me. But if I didn't, which is probably more likely, tell me how to say it. Hopefully there's no hard feelings there. But congratulations, you made the list.
Yeah, it's, I could have done better when I was at that Topeka High Manhattan game to really figure out. But when I walked into Hummer Sports Park, they gave us rosters. One roster was the Manhattan softball team, which is correct, and then the other was a Topeka High girls varsity soccer roster. So that didn't really do me any good there. But they're great people at Hummer Sports Park. They just one time. That's it. That's the only problem I've ever had there. But yes, if Caleb got your name, awesome. If not, sorry. Let's go to my number 4. And we're going to stick with the Topeka High Trojans, this time in the sport of track. Reviante Peoples won the boys 100-meter dash in 11.61 seconds and won the 200-meter dash in 23.74 seconds. Good job, Mr. Peoples. That's good stuff. Topeka High's track team is looking really good. Their relay teams are good. Their sprints, their jumps, everybody on Topeka High is really having a good start to the year. So, Viante Peoples, congratulations. Just made the list.
Congratulations. My number 3 spot, a man who needs no introduction. Trey Richardson seems like all he does is win. He won the boys' long jump. He won the boys' triple jump as well, finishing second in his debut in the high jump. I mean, the returning 5A state champ, and all he does is win. If you tally up all of his records, just put a W next to his name.
Yeah.
That's all you need to do. The man wins. So congratulations, Trey. You just made the list.
For the 1 millionth time, Trey Richardson, congratulations on making the list. All right, so back to softball we go. We're going to go to Tecumseh, Kansas, where the Shawnee Heights T-Birds play ball. Grace Proctor absolutely balled out against Topeka West. 4 innings of work, 3 hits, struck out 4 batters, gave up 1 walk. Not the sexiest stat line by any means, but at the plate, 4 for 4, 2 doubles, 5 RBIs. That'll do. That's a really, really good stat line to finish out your day against Topeka West. That was just in game 1. Game 2, she absolutely raked as well. But yeah, I think that goes without question that Grace Proctor has to make the list here.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
My number 2 spot, we mentioned her earlier in the episode. The 3-time state medalist in wrestling, Alexis Fredrickson from Washburn Rural. She won the 100-meter dash in 14 seconds while running against very high winds, took the 200 and finished second in pole vault and second in the 400. I can't even imagine how scary it was pole vaulting in wind like that. I have pole vaulted before. I pole vaulted for about half of a track season when I tried to play baseball and do track at the same time. I wasn't any good. Definitely wasn't as good as Alexis. So I can't even imagine being that high with the winds going like that. No, that's too much for me. Too much for me. So congratulations, Alexis. You just made the list.
Yeah, pole vault's scary. Like, I've seen a lot of scary stuff on pole vault, like memes and whatever. I've seen people break I don't know how people do pole vault. Pole vault is frightening to me. Next to spiders and ladders, maybe. Pole vault's right there. So, yeah, that's scary stuff. Anyways, back to the list. Walk-off hero, Caden Griffin from the Northwest Topeka Vikings, the Seaman Vikings. Caden Griffin came through big for the Vikes with a 2-out walk-off single to give Seaman a win. That is huge. A walk-off is always probably going to give you the benefit of the doubt on this list because walk-offs are cool. Very, very cool, and I like them a lot. Caden Griffin is a stud for Seaman, which a team that is absolutely loaded with talent. So to come through and get the win for the team, always going to give you a pat on the back. Maybe some pizza later. I don't know. But for us, it's just a spot on the list. But good job. We're proud of you. Good job, Mr.
Which
Griffin.
is very prestigious in its own right. So
award-winning, yes.
Award-winning podcast.
Yes.
My number 1 spot on this award-winning podcast. So congratulations. Just saying. Pretty big deal. Zara Fries had a very big week. She had 4 goals against campus, 1 goal against Seaman, and 1 goal against Wichita Southeast on Saturday in the championship game of the Titan Classic. So, yeah, huge week. What? 6 total goals in a week, averaging almost 1 goal a day. That's crazy. And she didn't even play soccer all week.
No.
Almost 1 goal a day, and she didn't even play soccer every day. That's pretty legit. I will say so myself. Congratulations, Zara. You made the list.
I don't know if Zara does taxes, but she was probably kicking in goals when she was filling out that W-4. So good job there. Awesome stuff, Zara. My number 1, Northwest Topeka Vikings yet again. This time with track for Bethany Drews, future Kansas Jayhawk Bethany Drews. In her second meet of the year, she won the 800. She also took the 1600, which is a mile. For people that don't do well with numbers like me, that's the 1 mile. I know that for a fact. And then she was a part of the 4x4 team, 4x400 team, not the piece of wood, but the 4x400 relay team. She led that team to come behind win. So Bethany Drew's just absolutely killing it this track season. But she is the number 1 spot on the list. Bam, 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 bam. Good job, Bethany Drews. Good job, everybody.
We need some confetti coming down. Actually, right now, future me is putting confetti coming down. Congratulations, everybody that made the list. Congratulations. Day 5 with confetti everywhere. All right. We will be back next week with another episode of Top Sports Talk. But before we go, Isaac, you got anything else?
Nope. Time to go watch some WrestleMania Night 2.
There you go. Remember to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss an episode. And we will see you next week.
Meow, meow, meow.